Union of Kenyan Civil Servants and the Kenya County Government Workers Union have issued a strike notice. We are willing to down our tools if we don't get our money, or rather we don't get our pay in the next few days. Medics in the North Rift are already on a 3 months strike. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bold Analysis, and today let us look at how the looming industrial action from the civil servants over the ravaging delay of salary is a ground for Raila Odinga, and the Azimio team are considering that route as plan B of mass action if the talks do not yield any fruit. And I can tell you without fear of contradiction, Raila Odinga team are going back to mass action. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our video. Thank you very much for your support across all over the world. Yes, thank you very much for those who support this channel financially. I even realize some are even keeping and praying for you. Thank you. May God bless you, you and your family. By the way, Nairobi is very cold. I don't know where is your place. How is your place, by the way? Share with me. How is your place? And I've also pinned, now that it's cold, you also need some coffee. So I've also pinned the number there. I'll be so glad for your coffee. Now, these two unions representing the national and county government employees have notified the umbrella workers body, the Central Organization of Trade Unions, KOTU, of the intention by their members to boycott work. The interesting bit is Ruto's escape route is very narrow. We also have to look at that, so make sure you watch to the end. Should the government employees walk out, it will be an unprecedented strike over delayed salaries, and which also have affected MPs, as past national strikes have been about pay rise. But on this one, it's not even about pay rise, it's about the pay. Governors have protested at failure by the National Treasury to release money to the counties for the 4th consecutive month since December. Since December, the county governments are supposed to receive the money every, I think, 14th day of the month. They've not received. Now, members of the Medical Practitioners and Dentist Union, KMPDU, in Nandi County have boycotted work to demand 3 months salary arrears. Now, I listened to David D yesterday, an insider, a man who is behind the economic will, confessing live in Citizen TV that government have been deliberately wasteful and not oblivious of the risk that such wastes can also actually cause to the economic recovery template. He is confessing that William Ruto technically has become very difficult man to advise on what next to be done. I can tell you. With that coming from David D, it tells you that despite of different layers of advisory that the president is receiving, he's in some sort of a fix. And I think Raila Odinga made a big mistake by earlier calling off that mass action. And probably the government knew what was coming in the next few weeks. Imagine if we would be talking about these delays and Raila Odinga is in the street. What would you see? How many people would have come up? I'm telling you, people would have enjoyed the holiday. Edwin Sifuna, while on NTV, says Azimio is ready to go back to the people if the demands are not met. Sifuna, who doubles as the Secretary General of ODM party, is a member of the bipartisan committee that was formed on the other side of Azimio la Umoja, and that has put it ready. That is already, he already speaks on a hardliner stand that come what come may, if it comes to the worst, they can head back to the protest. Now, I can tell you that these two bodies have wrote notice. They've already sent notice to KOTU. And they're saying, we are willing, we are ready to boycott work. David did saying they're going to be paid in the next few days, but there are no signs of that. The disgruntled civil service and county staff issuing notice reportedly has given Azimio Brigade grounds to call mass action, and many other parties will get involved in it. In any case, they can also walk out from that bipartisan committee. You know, let me tell you, it only takes Azimio la Umoja a walk out from that bipartisan talks for them to head back to the streets and call the people to action. It only takes that. So the looming tragedy that William Ruto must now see moving forward is that he must make sure that Raila Odinga team, the opposition wing, do not call mass action at this delicate time when the civil servants are also angry with the government. They are calling for boycott. Who knows? When they call for that boycott, what it means is that by the time mass action is called and people go to the street and you are demanding people go to work, so even the few people that you could spot in town when there was when Agombo called for that holiday, you will not see those people, and probably most of them will turn to the keyboard warriors. They will actually fight and join it as a struggle against a failed state. I tell you, if William Ruto do not contain situation as things move forward, then we stand a chance of heading back to mass action. Ladies and gentlemen, now I've just tried to look at this factor and I tried to pursue what are William Ruto's options. Looking at those options, they are very slim, but there is no escape route through which either of these options, none is safer or none is better. And that is why I conclude that President William Ruto is a cornered man, is a man under siege. Probably, let's just pause and say, we are here after accumulation of problems. We want to term it, you want to term it as a root problem. But just this administration have made many problems. Many blunders. Interestingly, I saw KRA responding yesterday saying that they have achieved their target and they should not be blamed for the cash crunch affecting the nation. I'm telling you, and you know, those who blamed them were also some other government agencies. Total chaos. I don't know who's going to rescue the ship, which according to me is actually sinking. Let's look at those options. When this is going forward, there is Raila's option, and this Raila's option is what is also fixing Ruto. And that first one is Raila's push for Ruto's illegitimacy is receiving a jab, because from the public service, there are people that have worked in government and for government for over a decade. The people that worked with Moi, I know a friend who is a photojournalist, is a photographer, started working in he told me he started working in 1995. Yes. And has moved from all those ministries. He's told me that as a senior civil servant, I have worked for Moi, Kibaki, and Uhuru 1 and Uhuru 2, both Kibaki 1 and Kibaki 2. I have never experienced this. It has never come to this. Since the inception of devolution in 2013, it's going into Guinness Book of Records It is for the first time that counties remittance, monthly remittance, has delayed the longest time it has ever delayed, but it has never delayed for 4 months. But since 2023, county government staff have gone without pay. Since January 2023. No, while those civil servants whose cases, those who benefited from corruption proceeds, cases were dropped, they got millions, they will still come out and tell you, we don't have money, we won't pay, and you can do what you can do. You can remove our trousers and wipers, but we don't have what you want. So it is receiving Raila's push that William Ruto is an illegitimate, UDA regime is an illegitimate regime, is receiving a jump, because to many people, you are validating the opposition narrative that William Ruto is a failed president. The failure in it, the failure of the state. And let's be logical and reasonable enough. We are just, how many months? 7 months, 5 months into power. And William Ruto is already fumbling. This issue of the state is supposed to rule this government for the next 4 years, at least, if all factors remain constant. Is he going to manage? We need to ask ourselves very important questions. Does William Ruto have a competent team? Do we have a competent team? As much as we blame, we have a lot of blame games on others. So that's the first option. And that Raila's option is putting Ruto in a big fix. The option of pushing that UDA regime is illegitimate will push President Ruto into this second option. Have quick fixes to offset the national civil servants bills. But again, the quick fixes are also putting the country at the risk of plunging the risk into debt traps. Because Raila's team are saying, you failed, then William Ruto will come under pressure to run into debts. And I think I listened to DEAD-ENDas saying that they're expecting some good loans coming in the next few days. Run into quick fixes, and these quick fixes is about rushing for some loans. Remember, the Treasury had said, and I analyzed yesterday, that there was a problem with the borrowing headroom. Our borrowing headroom is already narrow. And because it is narrow, we don't have anywhere to rush to get loans. So if any other loan that we might get in the market, any quick loan we can get in the market, you'll actually see that we might look at them and rush for them despite of maybe exorbitant rates in it, because we want quick fixes. And again, if we don't solve the problem of revenue collection, then the quick fixes will just fix us into problems next time. A problem or two. If we can't cure the revenue collection and expenditure, if we can't manage our expenditure, then it doesn't matter how many loans we will get to pay civil servants, will be heading back to the loan route every now and then. If we don't fix the austerity measure that President Ruto must look at, someone tell him, is about our spending. If we can't change our habit, then even this second option of quick fixes is not going to give us a permanent solution. Number 3. A third option, which is already, I'm saying, deploy political machinery to blame Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, and also most recently blame the protests to be behind the troubles. And that is what I call deploy escape narrative on the altar of politics. Let me tell you, when people will watch you in news, attending events and speaking on how the government is stable, or others are portioning blames to the previous regimes, and they will yell at you. Maybe because we are members of UDA, for those who are members of UDA. But in reality, when they check their accounts and don't see money, they cannot blame Uhuru Kenyatta. They cannot ask Uhuru Kenyatta. They will blame you. They will blame you. They will blame you. They will blame this gentleman here. They will not blame this gentleman. They will blame this gentleman here. So that escape narrative is an option. It has been used. Okay, it's been here. But I'm not seeing it potent. It's not sustainable. It's one that is, it's very easy for it to evaporate. So pursue that option by trying to manage this in the public opinion. But even the public opinion can only thrive if there is a tangible solution. You can only say these things after paying them, by the way. So the issue about paying, I don't think there is an option. The last option, and it has its own demerit. Try to implement salary cuts and retrenchment, but this also hurts the economy. If you retrench people in the civil service, then you also have to retrench the parliament. You also have to retrench MPs. You also have to retrench senators who are gobbling a lot of funds. You also have to retrench 50 CAs and their support staffs. Retrenchment is an option, but is it friendly? It also brings employment squabbles and hostility. Those people you shall have chased from government will go and join that mass action that Raila Odinga will call immediately. They are called. Even themselves, they will join that mass action. And the uprising builds up. Salary cuts. You cannot cut salary while the inflation is high. You cannot cut salary while the inflation is high. Because if people are earning less, then the price of goods are high, then it's small money chasing the high prices, the country is in trouble. So salary cuts is an option. There is a legal framework to it. It also subject to political discourse. Are the members of parliament going to accept it? They must accept first for it to come down the line. Ladies and gentlemen, Ruto is in a big mess. He's a cornered man. And Raila Odinga has a very serious card calling back that mass auction. And I'm telling you, we are back to square one. Out of those four options I've given you, is there any? I said none of them is very friendly. Is there any that you think is easy? I'm telling you. Let's meet in the next. I'm waiting for my coffee. Yes, Nairobi kuko baridi sana. Yes, so let me pin the number there for your coffee, and may God bless you and your family.